Your flight training has been missing something big up until now. Through private, IFR, and commercial, you've been in an adventure testing the limits of what you can do as a pilot in an aircraft. Every time you've encountered an obstacle or a challenge, you've found something within yourself to overcome it. The key to overcoming your challenges as a flight instructor, however, won't come from within yourself, but from a completely separate human being, your student. Human beings are fantastically complicated machines. If your attitude indicator stops working, you can guess that either the vacuum system or its internal gyros have probably failed. If the controller assigns you an ILS approach instead of the visual, it's probably because the destination airport is IFR. But there may be no telling why your student can't seem to master slow flight. As an instructor, you'll need to observe human behavior to gain knowledge needed to assist your students in learning. A person's behavior is said to be influenced by several factors. One of these main factors is human needs. All people have needs for their normal growth and development. Some needs take priority over others. For example, humans can't last very long without water, so the need for water is stronger than the need for food. A psychologist, Abraham Maslow, published what's called a hierarchy of needs. These go beyond the obvious physical needs of food and shelter to things like safety, security, love, belongingness, and self-esteem and actualization. Once a need is satisfied at one level, people can work to satisfy the next level of need. While later research found that it's not necessary for a lower level to need to be 100% fulfilled before moving on to others, for example, a person can still strive to achieve what they were born to do while being hungry, it's clear that some needs affect people's ability to focus on a task at hand. A learner that's scared and anxious about performing stalls has an unfulfilled need for safety and security. Their fight or flight response will make it difficult to focus on the skills needed to perform the stall. The instructor needs to help the student overcome their anxiety to better equip them to concentrate on the task. Think of the first time you did a stall. What stands out to you about that memory? Is it the gradual increase in pitch attitude as the aircraft dissipated energy? Or the slowly increasing stall horn noise? Not for me. I remember the anxiety of what the stall would feel like rather than the finer points of whatever I needed to perceive to learn the maneuver. This anxiety faded over time and let me really experience the maneuver more. The hierarchy of needs is organized into these levels then. At the base are the physiological needs for things like food, air, water, maintenance of the human body. Make sure your students' physiological needs are met so they can perform their tasks. This base level of needs, no matter how satisfied, are always on your students' minds though. I like to relate my teaching to food as much as I can. It's a universal need and often has high association value because it fulfills a basic physiological need. For example, I like to call the center of the VOR receiver the donut, or the trend vector on a G1000 the meatball, even though I didn't make up those terms. Next up are safety and security needs, about keeping oneself from harm. By stressing flight safety early and often in your training, you'll be helping a student overcome their feelings of insecurity. Next, no one wants to feel lonely or alienated, so love and belonging are important needs. All new students feel like an outsider when first coming to aviation. It's a strange new pursuit, and very few people actually pursue flight training. Esteem needs are higher up. When you have a high opinion of yourself, you seem to glide from task to task. Learning to fly is a humbling endeavor, though. I remember times after a less than stellar flight lesson that I had trouble remembering my own name, let alone felt good about my status as a pilot. Esteem comes from within, judging yourself based on your own criteria, but it also comes from external sources, respect and appreciation from others. As a flight instructor, you're an important source of those external esteem needs. When the needs are frustrated, the student feels inferior and helpless. This is a big one. For many people, myself included, flight training may be all about fulfilling this esteem need. A person's identity as a pilot could be a big part of their feeling of esteem. Further up are the cognitive and aesthetic needs. As an educator, fulfilling these needs is your bread and butter. Have you ever tried to understand something and read about it or had it explained to you 5 different ways until finally a certain explanation just clicks? All of a sudden, all these connections are made in your brain and it's almost overwhelming, like you have to go take a walk or something, right? These eureka moments feel so good because your brain is actually rewarding you with dopamine, reinforcing this learning behavior and making you want more. Think of Mr. Johnny 5 in Short Circuit. The robot's obsessed with input, reading and learning as much as he can because of his cognitive needs. I might be dating myself with the reference. At the top of the hierarchy are the self-actualization needs. We're driven by the need to pursue what we're born to do. People who are self-actualized realize their potential, seek to develop themselves further, and think creatively. They're problem-focused, have an ongoing fresh appreciation of life, are concerned with personal growth, and are able to have peak experiences. As an instructor, helping a student achieve their potential in aviation is the greatest challenge and carries the biggest reward. So this is the hierarchy of human needs. The important thing is to not feel too constrained by going step by step through a student's level of needs, but to realize that not all needs are created equal, nor are they fulfilled in quite the same way, but are all important in flight training.